Remember, there's some pretty important information here in the disclaimer. You might want to give the video a quick pause and read it.
Oh, hey everybody, it's me, Sonic! Sonic the Hedgehog! Just here to remind you that if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button. And for even more amazing customs, don't forget to subscribe to Wake Angel 2001! Because between you and me, they're way past cool!
Hello everybody, this is Wake Angel 2001. I'm sorry if I sound a little bit weird, but I've come down with a bit of a cold. My throat's a little sore and I'm quite congested, so yeah, I might sound a bit unusual in this video. So this is a commission for Emilio, and yes, I actually did manage to finish it on the Black Friday weekend. Go me! It is, Infinite. Yes, good old Infinite. It is nice to be able to make this guy at least once without it being, something that I crafted out of spite just to one-up the Tomy Corporation. No, this is just me using the same recipe I did before, like when I made the Infinite figures in the Jakks Pacific scale, or my idealized Infinite in the Jazzware scale from before. Same basic techniques. So for once, no huge update to what I did. Alright, so Emilio actually managed to find a werehog figure to send to me to use as the base. He probably recalled that I used the werehog's head for the unmasked Infinite figure, or rather the one with the mask that could be, taken on and off, my original Infinite. And, I decided that I didn't want to destroy another one of these rare and precious Jazzware Sonic figures. So I said, hey, buddy, I'm just gonna give you your werehog figure back. I'll use this. It is a Call of Duty, Mega Construct soldier figure. These guys are cheap and easy to find because they are specifically meant for army building. So, it's literally just a generic little figure that is sold cheaply because they expect you to get a bunch of them just for display purposes with your Mega Construct sets. So, this plus a whole bunch of 3D printed parts, as you can see, is all that's necessary to make an Infinite. And you might be noticing that there's two heads. That's because this one is going to have a swapping head gimmick. More on that later. So, the body didn't require a lot of sculpting this time. It's mostly the collar. Oh, and this is another cost-cutting measure, because instead of having to track down a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles foot ninja, which is a character that people want and is therefore a little bit rarer and more expensive, these Call of Duty soldier guys come with, an ammo belt kind of thing that clips over their shoulders that you can put their accessories and guns and stuff on. So with a little bit of cutting and sculpting, this could make Infinite's collar just as well as that foot soldier's collar does. So yeah, it's just another instance where I can save on the cost for my commissioner by using a base toy that is cheaper and easier to find. So yes, as you can see, I sculpted it to have his little hair points and the Phantom Ruby. Painted up and put onto the torso, it looks much more convincing. You don't want to take this collar off because then it'll expose the pockets. The soldier has pockets, I couldn't sculpt over because then the collar wouldn't go back on because the collar is really holding on with the same clipping friction mechanism that is before, so that means you can't alter the texture of the torso for fear of making it not fit anymore. And from the back, you can see the little tufts that stick out the back of his neck. So I guess I'll just get the arms and legs out of the way real quick because it's the same fare as always. The hands are 3D printed. The Mega Construx figure's original hand is clipped down to a little nub and then stuck inside the glove, so the wrist articulation still works. And there's no knee swivel or ankle articulation because these figures don't have that. Just ball jointed hips and basic 90-degree knees. Um, but yeah, like the feet are held on with a combination of sculpt and super glue, so the feet should not crack off easily. And even if they do, there should be plenty of surface area to allow for a relatively easy repair. The tail is what gives me the most grief because these are very tiny figures, and even if I drilled a hole in the butt so I could stick the tail into it, that's still very little surface area that's in contact with glue. So I have to sculpt. I wrap the attachment point with epoxy sculpt to increase the area that attaches. And again, if this happens to snap off, it should be easy to reattach with just a little bit of crazy glue. So that just leaves the heads. Now, Infinite's head, because of the hair, is easier to print in two parts. The front half of the head and the hair printed separately, because this way I can print them vertically, which results in a minimal scarring from support media. And, like, imagine if you had to, like, go in between the hair, like his dreadlocks to get the support media out. No, printing them vertically so that all of the support media goes on the outside of the hair, that's the way to go. So it attaches easily enough. It's just two halves of the same whole with a little bit of epoxy to hide the scarring. And painted up, you have Infinite's proper face. I did this in the larger scale for the Jakks Pacific Infinite. This is the first time I'm doing it for the 3-inch scale. The last time I did this, I only printed the mask and I sculpted the hair by hand. But this makes it much faster and much easier to mass produce. Case in point, I printed the same hair for the second head. This, of course, is the fan-made head, which does not have the mask, because as I need to remind you, the Infinite did appear briefly unmasked in Sonic Forces, but only in pre-rendered cutscenes, not during any part of gameplay. So his model for his face is not in the game. If you remove the mask from the head, then what's left underneath kind of looks like an orange cut in half. At least that's what Corey Sonic fan told me. So that just leaves the completed figure. So here we go. We're doing some side-by-side comparisons of the masked head and the unmasked head. They are both built around ball joints. So, like, inside is a Dr. Halsey head. It's easier to cut Dr. Halsey down to a nub to stick inside the head than removing the Call of Duty soldier's pit helmet. And yeah, you can just pop one head off the ball joints and pop the other one on. And this results in Infinite that can be in his unmasked form or his tallest of mountains and roughest of waves form. So, yeah, I can already feel my throat starting to burn, so I'm gonna stop this right here. Thank everybody for watching. This is Weak Angel 2001 signing off.